When doing a general playthrough of Fallout New Vegas, you're bound to find, use, or more than likely hoard chems for an emergency situation that never comes. They give you buffs for a short period of time in exchange for a game of chance. Maybe you'll become addicted to them. Addictions can be removed by visiting a doctor, but what if you didn't want them removed? What if you wanted them all? Can you beat Fallout New Vegas while addicted to all chems? Back in April, Mitten Squad turned 9 years old. But here's the thing, I made Mitten Squad when I was 16, and on May 15th I turned 26, and do you know what that means? We can officially celebrate 10 years of Mitten Squad on a technicality, and what better way to do that than with the release of the Fork Barbarian's cooler older brother, the Nuclear Fork Barbarian, made by Makeshift. The plush is on sale now for $27.99. This is a limited run product that, due to an act of God, has had its sale extended until July 15th. Buy one by then, or miss out forever. I know where this playthrough is headed. I can sense it in my knees, or maybe it's gonna rain later. Tough to say. I named myself Rickety Cricket because that's where this is going. That's a girl's name. We all knew this. A beautiful woman was born, and God let her pick what makes her special. We all know what it isn't. Good gosh. I figured I had two options here. Optimize as best I can for a quick playthrough, despite not knowing what afflictions the addictions would cast upon me. Or I could just make a character as generic as possible and suffer the consequences of being normal. I picked option 2. Always pick door 2. Behind it is where the digital style lives. Skills, I did put some thought into though. Guns, medicine, lockpick. The reasonings should be obvious. With likely hits to my charisma from some chem, my speech is likely to take a hit, meaning I can't go with the speech cop-out at the end of the game. My only option is guns. Those hindrances are also why I picked skilled, and I swear on my dead dog's grave, I almost picked Logan's Loophole before I remembered what this playthrough was supposed to be about. I'll skip through most of the pain in the ass it was to make this happen. Basically, I made a bat command, which is just a text file you can put a bunch of console commands into. Then, run that one bat command in the in-game console, and you can execute all those commands. I made one to give me enough chems to turn this into my requiem for a nightmare. That didn't work. So I had to do it manually, with all 9 chems that can give you an addiction. These are Alcohol, Buffout, Hydra, Jet, Med-X, Mentats, Ant Nectar, Psycho, Nuka-Cola Quantum, that one shocked me, Turbo, and Ultra Jet. As I've read them, the effects of withdrawal have been displayed on screen, so I don't have to go through all of those too. Here's a side-by-side comparison of where my special stats started, and where they ended up after becoming addicted to all chems. Also, I'm not getting any benefits from their use at this time. If I was, you'd see those buffs here in the effects page. And with that, the actual game can begin. My first and only goal for the next 11 minutes was leveling up via the Ghost Town gunfight quest, as well as to get some supplies for the road. Sunny Smiles joined our cause, and with the best member of the Beatles too, it would be enough to eviscerate Joe Cobb and his little Cornish babies. I should point out that due to the addictions and whatnot, absolutely nothing is off limits. I can use any exploit I want with a guilt-free conscience. I didn't use a single one because they all require effort and I'm lazy. Why cheat when you can just run up the clock and give the substitute teacher a candy to let you turn the test into a take-home test? For my next trick, I was off to the cool side of Prim, where Vicky and Vance gambled away their daughter's college money. I was there to eliminate raiders within the casino to 1. Cleanse the building of the lost souls stuck within, and 2. Obtain their guns and ammo. My carry weight isn't great thanks to the addictions. I can only carry 160 pounds of supplies, which adds up quick with metal armor, a grenade launcher, and a set of NCR infantry armor I took off a guy whose head took off with this spear after I chucked it as hard as I could towards his dome. At some point in this video, before this moment, I set the difficulty up to normal. For some reason, playing on either easy or very easy just felt a little too easy this time. I wanted it to take at least some effort. I didn't want to one-shot everything with a shotgun at the beginning of the game. The difficulty was most likely aided by how ungodly slow you equip and then eventually reload any gun. You're gonna lose your shit when I show you the full clip of me taking out a missile launcher, firing it, and reloading it. A word of advice: don't hold your breath unless you want to go meet God and complain about what I made you watch. Sadly, Beagle died just like mine did. That's a true fact. She turned into a grenade and went off. The vet lost his job after I killed him for letting that happen. After dealing with a group of scorpions using stolen dynamite for easy experience, I hit level 4, started putting my skills up to a minimum of 25 because picking perks isn't impacted by any negative status effect, and continued up the road to Mojave Outpost for a few quick and simple jobs. While there are 2 well-known quests, there is actually a neat little third that can be completed as well. The first is to clear out a road passage of the ants infesting the dip into the planet. The next quest pairs with the third. Investigate Mitten for Ranger Ghost. Something seems off about the town, they says. It's Oliver Swanwick, a highly trained soldier like Ghost, could tell he had to go. I obliged, checked out the town, agreed with Wolfie that the people here got what they deserved, and returned to Mojave Outpost where things have changed since I left. Jackson's quest gets you XP and a cowboy repeater. Ghost gives you XP, but telling Major Insert Name here about what the Legion did also gives you a handsome amount of XP. From there, I was on my way to see Reptar, Lord of Vacancies and Poorly Lit Signs. Actually, I was merely passing through on my way towards a place where the grass is just as dead as it is here. But it isn't here, so it's an improvement. Boone's a great companion, effective at a range in a way others aren't, but he wouldn't like what I'm gonna do later. I was on my way to 188 Trading Post to pick up Veronica as my companion. She'll get me into the Brotherhood of Steel without having to do a quest while wearing a funny necklace first. But that's then, and this is now, and now I'm headed towards the strip. I've got the right costume to get into the convention at Camp McCarran without anyone knowing it's a costume. It's my time to shine. On the way there, the ants channeled their power and sacrificed themselves to level me up to level 6, where I picked Fortune Finder to increase the amount of money I find in dead people's pockets. I'm officially the grandson of everyone in the wasteland. Whatever they have on them when they die after I kill them automatically goes to me by birthright. Don't ask about their children. Closer to the strip, a handful of fiends took a big bite out of the dusty surface their boots stepped on. Veronica got a new hat. Another NCRX Fiends fanfic went off the rails near this rubble. I found a really terrible shotgun, gave it to Veronica. This was quite the skirmish, it would seem, given the exploding vehicle, and I discovered Camp McCarran only to turn around 360 degrees and walk in the other direction towards the gunrunners. In time, I'll have to pass through Freeside. Might as well discover it now to save time down the line. Me out in the comments about using guns from a mod. See if I give a shit. If there's any way for me to use a 1911 in a game, I'm gonna take it, even if it's not the real game. That was my purchase, along with some ammo. After discovering the north gate to the strip, I briefly considered wiping out all the kings in their clubhouse. And by considered, I mean I blew a few of them up, then reloaded a save because I wasn't sure if they'd be needed to complete a quest later in the game, seeing as I'm not siding with Yes Man this time around. With that bit of rage successfully pumped out of my stomach, I was free to put on a disguise, enter the strip without paying the troll toll, and stroll into the tops looking for a Benny to kill, and if the stars align, a new suit that isn't covered in someone else's blood. Sure, my damage resistance was quite high from the NCR armor I was still wearing, but I was only using a 10mm handgun in the 1911, while the chairmen were using sawed-off Shottingtons and guns that fire .44 rounds. Most of the chairmen died in 4 to 5 shots. That might not sound like a lot, but compared to the 2 it usually takes, plus the insane reload times, made this feel like it took more effort than usual. It didn't. I didn't die once. It just felt like it took more effort. Benny's bodyguards also died in the previously described chaos, so he was all by his lonesome. I knocked him off his feet with my beautiful face that hits you in the eyes like a load of buckshot to the chest. Benny was down for the count. The Cricket's back just got reinforced with rebar, and I left the casino to burn down the house. He paid me a solid grand for the platinum chip. The idiot got ripped off. I'd have settled for 300. They say the house always wins, but this isn't a house. It's a home. My home specifically. You see, after Bobby gave me the chip back to do an upgrade at the fort, I took it, got access to his hidden chambers, and threw 2 spears into him to test the strength of his catheter. My next stop was my knees. I'd be on them before Caesar in no time. Just walk for a while, going southeast, until you see the guys on crosses and what you might think is the Grand Canyon if you're an idiot. The Big C's first job for me was to destroy what lies underneath the weather station behind his tent. Coincidentally, that's where I'd be going if I sided with Bobbert. Kill a few robots, blow up a few generators, take out the sentry bots with plasma and pulse grenades because this is Fallout New Vegas, not Fallout 4, they can be killed easily enough, and you're off to end the boomers. The path there was boring, packed to the brim with nothing to do. I offed George, robbed him blind, he's dead, he can't see anymore, survived the boomers' bombardment, took off Pearl's head, and set off for the rest of the boomer leaders. The only 2 who need to die are Loyal, located in one of the 2 hangars, and Raquel. She was by the entrance, but I can't recall killing her. That's probably a byproduct of my brain turning into jello by dying so many times to the boomers located near the gate. I didn't need to end them, but Vanessa can wear their thick-as armor for incredible protection, and the missile launchers they carry are worth their weight in missile launchers. She's already got the armor from a prior corpse. I can still sell the armor for more gold doubloons though. My best weapon, a grenade rifle I picked up off an individual who looks like Valerie now, barely left a scratch. I managed to get a missile launcher after using survival tactics and a stealth boy. Didn't last though. Eventually, I had to just play like someone who was trying to actually be good at a video game and use the building as cover to lure the boomers towards me. They won't use a missile launcher at close range. Before an entire eternity had passed, the boomers who mattered were no more, and I went on a shopping spree. Really, all I needed was ammo. My weapons are sufficient, so that's what I did. I stocked up on ammo for anything that could use it, which is every weapon I have at all times always. Bought myself a USP pistol and attached a suppressor to it because why not, and returned to Mr. Salad, who opened up his praised dressing bottle and showered me in it. Once Caesar's brain noodle recovered from me spitting water through it at the pool, he sent me off to handle the White Glove Society. Oh, and the NCR hates me now, so that's fun. At the strip, I spoke to Butters deep inside glove territory. She refused my advances, as did Mortimer, and I returned to Caesar to be punished. Perhaps if I hadn't massacred a casino, I could have helped them. Oh well, the time has come to make some things go boom in the night, or daytime. The dark is dark and spooky. There are two options for eradicating the siblings made of metal. Kill them all, or sneakily pickpocket 3 individual key cards from their 3 most important individuals, Head Paladin Harden, Elder McNamara, and Head Scribe Taggart. Then it's a simple job of not reading the terms and conditions, pressing the pretty red download button, and setting their entire bunker to self-destruct. A kindergartner could do it if they had me rudely shouting instructions at them from across the room. The best part of this was Veronica being forced to fight her own people. It was delightful. It wasn't until we left what remained of Hidden Valley that she came to her senses and abandoned me. I don't do well with abandonment. If you're with me, you're with me until you die, whether you like it or not. To that end, Veronica had to go be with her people. I knew this was coming, which was why I stripped her of my armor before I let her turn her back on me. I took one of her sporks to remember her by and stormed Black Mountain in search of a desperado looking for a new life. I had a plan for dealing with the mutants. Buy a bunch of mines. The big guys stormed me, then they boom. Balake sells them at Crimson Caravan, and I forgot that the NCR hates me, so all these people are dead now. I abandoned my plan and went with its cousin who wasn't too chicken to use the diving board when they were 7. Just stormed the mountain. The super mutants pack a big mean punch, but keep in mind I had a missile launcher and a shotgun capable of turning what remained of their brains into decorative art pieces littering the road leading up to the radio station. It's a hell of a tool. I can see now why the Remington 870 is so popular. I'm a Nerf guy myself, but I won't fault anyone for being wrong. The Nightkin's active camo wasn't enough to fool me. I took the rebar out of Cricket's spine and turned it into a weapon, took out the Nightkin sniper armed with a missile launcher he named Annabelle to take it for myself, and entered Tabitha's lair to set her people free and get the key to her heart, her chest, the weapon chest, whatever. She was a tough old beast, surviving shot after shot after shot from my Remington named Theodore until I got redemption for all the mutants she lured to the mountain under false pretenses. If only there was a red coating for the shotgun. We could call it Red Ted Redemption for short. I'll take my Oscar now. Get over here, you grouchy son of a bitch. Sorry, I got my names mixed up. This is Raoul, not Oscar. He's my new hand puppet. With Raoul, charmed by my face, we returned to the fort and entered Caesar's tent. Well, I did. Sorry, bucko. No uggos allowed. The man in charge informed me that he had been getting headaches for weeks and even had a seizure, and I informed him that he most likely has a little buddy growing inside his noggin. I named it Tumor, and told him I could maybe remove it if I had the right tools. I'd need a doctor's bag, complete with a lab coat and fake plastic stethoscope, a module for the auto dock resting at the foot of his bed, and lastly, I'd need a set of surgical tools. You can't go digging into someone's brain with just a butter knife and a dream. Luckily, I didn't have to go scavenging for all the bits and pieces that theoretically make up the surgical tool playset. I bought them all from a doctor for $1,400. What a bargain. As for the auto dock module, to make the robot carry the burden of potential failure on its back for me, f it. Who needs it? My hands are as steady as a snail is quick. I'm the perfect man for the job. Despite my eagerness to perform my first surgery and enthusiasm for seeing what's inside people's heads, he didn't survive the operation. I'm not sure what went wrong. Regardless, Lucius sent me out to the hills near Hoover Dam to meet with an agent. We're taking out President Kimball where he lives, which is just wherever he happens to be at any particular moment. The agent's name is in Latin and translates to Mr. Hostile. That's a true fact, don't bother looking it up. His only useful bit of information for me was that the president would be arriving sometime in the afternoon. He also gave me some NCR armor for a disguise. Unbeknownst to him, I'm a master at this sort of thing. I've done it one other time. I know what I'm doing. NCR Rangers will see through the costume though. Best avoid their line of sight. The other bit of information he gave me was that I'd need to speak to him to let him know I'm ready. Only at that point will the quest progress to the point of Kimball arriving. Make sure you talk to him so you don't end up like me, spending 5 minutes waiting behind this building because you weren't really listening when he was talking. Had to use a stealth boy to approach him without getting caught. I snuck back to my hiding spot and waited for President Kimball to begin his speak. Once his vocal cords got good and noisy, I popped out from behind cover and blasted him with a missile. I actually tried that multiple times, but no matter how many attempts, he always managed to avoid his own demise. There is a plan C. Turn invisible. Get up close to ensure I can see him clearly, and throw a stick through his cheek with enough force to tear his head clean off. Then it went back and to the left from my perspective, not sure what that was about. With the president presumably dead, I ran up to the watchtower and fired down missiles on all the puny insects scuttering about all the way down there. A well-placed missile could kill the soldiers in one shot. Occasionally the rangers took up to 3, but that was due to my horrible aim, relatively low explosive skill, and the distance at which I'm firing from. Once I got bored of waiting 1,000 years in between every missile shot, I pulled out the trail carbine I pulled out of a dead ranger's hands and used it to clean up those who remained alive after my bombardment. NCR morale has been shattered. Their leader is dead at my hands. This is a fabulous day to pretend to be from Rome. Good news, at level 14, I took the perk to make reloads 25% faster. I didn't really feel it all that much, but at least it's there in spirit. Speaking of spirit, one haunted the gun of the last ranger I killed. Naturally, I took that gun for myself. Before returning to Lucius, I did a quick exchange at the gun runners to sell the guns I knew I didn't need, bought more ammunition, and returned to Lucius, who told me it was time for me to report to the legate who had taken Caesar's place atop the Legion food chain. After hotkeying my weapons for the final time, I approached the most intimidating tent I'd ever seen and received my orders from the legate. Take Hoover Dam, and release Legion hostages held around and about the dam. It's like the reverse of every other second battle for Hoover Dam. The battle begins as myself and a group of legionaries broke through the gate at the legate's camp and laid waste to those on the bridge. Once I got the L-198A4, things changed for the better for me and much worse for the NCR soldiers unfortunate enough to get in my way. It's not a one-shot kill, even with a 308 shot to the head. It does big damage and may even do them a stutter with their legs, but it won't kill them. Body by body, bullet by bullet, I made my way to the halfway point in this battle. Dozens of dead troopers lie behind me. A veteran afraid to join the fray let me know about the situation up ahead. It's worse. How perfect. I pressed ahead anyway. Turns out, his trauma got the better of him. It wasn't worse up ahead. There were more rangers here than there were in the prior section, and I shit you not, it takes 14 seconds to equip the missile launcher, spend 1 second lining up a shot, fire, then reload. 14 seconds for that. I suppose it makes it feel like that much more of a power weapon, but it still annoys the shit out of me. I was so upset by the missile launcher that if for some reason I saw a slug in my kitchen, I probably would have had to call animal control to come save me. With the Legion free of their cages or allowed to pass through the sewers they crawled through, I was never entirely sure. We continued to hack, slash, pray and spray all over the NCR forces lurking closer to the Hoover Dam offices. Once inside, the battle got more confined, more intimate, more messy. This poor feller tried to flee with a broken leg while he was on fire. With so many friendly Legion members fighting alongside me, this was more of a question of how many people do I feel like ending. This guy in particular had to go, as if I'm gonna let someone use a grenade on me. I don't understand how they work, so I'm the only one qualified to use them. Veteran rangers started showing up as I inched towards General Oliver's compound. Nothing a couple big old bullets to the inner ear canal can't solve. After one more room, I found myself at the end of the game. I have arrived at the compound with a significant sledgehammer, the perk that lets me wear power armor, and a set of boomer power armor. I couldn't be stopped, even on the normal difficulty. Like ants to a hot stovetop, the troopers fell before me. They lasted mere seconds before me. Then came Oliver himself, which is weird because he's supposed to retreat through a trap room, then finally make his last stand at the top floor. We've seen this bug before. No matter what I do, Oliver won't retreat, and he won't take damage. I could have always just used the set stage command to fix the quest and beat the game that way. Regardless, I think it's pretty obvious that you can beat Fallout New Vegas while addicted to all chems. I didn't. However, I did come pretty damn close. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything, leave a like. Leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy the video or didn't learn anything. Thanks to the Champion tier supporters as well as other channel members for making videos like this one possible. Follow me on Twitter @MittenSquad. Join the Mitten Squad Discord server by going to mitten.land. My name is Paul of Mitten Squad. Have a wonderful day.